All right, guys. So let's take a look at some of the questions that might give you a little bit more of a challenge from the homework. And let's see if we can work through these problems together. All right, so these right here come from 8B. And the first question is going to be 3h. This comes from near the beginning of the section. Equals to negative 48 h squared. Okay, and so the first rule when you have a question that looks like this is that you cannot divide by h. The mathematical reasoning for that is that we don't know what h is. And since h is a variable, h could be 0. And as you know, you cannot divide by 0. And so you were not allowed to divide by h. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to bring everything to one side. So I'm going to add 48h to both sides. And that will leave me with 3h to the fourth plus 48h squared equaling 0. And of course, us equaling 0 will allow us to use the zero product property. And so I can factor out a 3h squared, right? And then that will leave me with h squared plus 16 equals 0. And so I'm going to have 3h squared equaling 0. And I'm going to have h squared plus 16 equaling 0. This one you divide by 3. And then h squared equals 0. So therefore h equals 0 after I take the square root. And look, h was 0 as one of our possibilities. So again, that's why earlier on I was saying that you cannot divide by a variable. So next, over here, I'm going to subtract 16. And so you have right here that h squared is equal to negative 16. And when I take the square root, again, note that the answer to the question said that you could have complex solutions. And so we're going to have this right here going to be plus or minus 4i. And so this question right here is going to have three answers: 0, negative 4i, and positive 4i. Now, interestingly enough, I can give you a question that's almost exactly the same, and you get the different answers. Let me put it over here since it's almost the same question. 2h to the fourth power is equals to 32h squared. So again, I can't divide by h squared, and so I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides, 32h squared. These will cancel, and so I have 2h to the fourth minus 32h squared is equal to 0. And then from here, I can factor out the 2h squared. 2h squared. That leaves me with h to the fourth minus 16 equals 0. And so again, by the zero product property, I can split this into two separate equations. This one right here, divide by 2, h squared equals 0. Take the square root, h equals 0. And then on the other side, I'm going to add 16 to both sides. And so I have then that h squared is equals to 16. And then I take the square root. And so again, that h is equal to plus or minus 4. The questions were virtually the same, but one of them I had to take the square root of a negative number over here, while one of them I did not. And remember, that is the only difference between real and imaginary solutions. It's just us having to take square roots of negative numbers. All right?